This is a crazy powerful and fun to ride scooter with incredible performance and speeds of up to 120 km per hour. Unboxing, setup and first impressions. Let's get started! Okay, one of my first ever rides. Well, the odometer shows 5 kilometers, so obviously I've been doing some testing prior to that for the initial filming, but yeah, one of the first rides, and I've been charging it overnight. It takes quite many hours for this huge battery to get recharged, and it's a beast. Right now I'm limited to 25 kilometers per hour, and that's why I don't have a helmet, because otherwise you wouldn't hear anything. But don't forget, helmet could be a lifesaver, and it's a must-have with this scooter. Here we go, that's the Nanrobot LS7 Plus, the latest beast and currently one of the most powerful electric scooters you may find out there. I think when they were designing it, there have been three main priorities: to be able to handle any kind of off-road conditions, to be crazy powerful, and to make sure your body could produce a lot more adrenaline than usual. So in this video we're gonna see about the unboxing, the tech specs, and I'll share my first impressions. Please note, this is not a toy. Never let kids ride it without supervision. Read very carefully the instructions and make sure that you're well equipped before riding. Sanitary minimum, a good helmet. I'd also recommend extra protective gear. So let's see how to set things up. I'd easily recommend getting another pair of hands with you when you're doing the unboxing, because it weighs 52 kilos with the box, and that's quite a lot. I like to perform these kind of activities outdoors, so there's been enough space, but think about this as well. Since I saw it in the comments of another video, I thought it's about time to use this trick and actually get the box open from the bottom and pull up the box instead for this 52 kilo scooter beast. The plan is great, but implementing it was a bit more challenging than I thought initially. But here we go, this is the full box. It's good to see the device being well packed. The rest is much easier since you have access to all the scooter parts, so removing the foam protectors first. We can already notice the very solid construction, mostly metal, with rugged-looking parts and tires. First encounter with the folding mechanism, and it looks extremely reliable. So should be it, because given the weight and the power inside, there is no room for mistakes. There's a two-set box, so let me quickly show you what's inside. Remote for configuring the LED strips. We're gonna come back to this point in just a few moments. The user manual, read it, and then read it again. A lot of useful information. There are some screws included for the last bits of the assembly, including a damper, which you should install as well. Handlebar installation is easy. Be careful with the wires adjustment, make sure that they are not twisted and have enough room to move, then simply tighten the screws. It may get a little tricky with tightening them due to the presence of the display, just find the right angle. In my case, the cable for the control panel was detached, so fixing this takes a minute. To mount the damper, you also are going to need a few minutes. Quite easy, very useful addition. The damper allows you to control the amount of power you need to apply when taking turns, so if you plan to ride at higher speeds, I'd highly recommend to push the lever at a higher resistance rate. The installation itself is down to tightening two bolts, and there's nothing complicated about it. So, now the scooter is ready. Check the tire pressure, charge the battery to full, and get to know how to ride it. I'm gonna let it charge in the background, and let me in the meanwhile list for you the most impressive characteristics. Range, up to 40 miles, dual drive setup powered by two motors with 2.4 kilowatts power each, 60 volts, 40 amps battery, 11-inch wheel diameter, extra off-road capable pneumatic tires, dual active suspension, maximum speed of more than 100 km per hour, dual disc hydraulic brake system, beautiful display, key lock, front and rear lights, side turn signals, and beautiful LED strips around the body. The last feature is not only practical, but also extremely beautiful when you ride the scooter at night. The whole package feels great. Each and every part is with outstanding quality, with practical placement. If you're upgrading from a smaller scooter, there's going to be a very short learning curve. It's all very simple and easy. Most of the buttons and the placement of the handles are adjustable, so is the display. And let me show you what kind of info is available there. In order to power it on, put inside the key and use the power button to start the scooter. There's the battery info, the gear settings, stoplight indication, the single or dual drive indication, and you can switch between time, trip and odometer info. The display is super beautiful and colorful and kind of pleasure to look at if it's cloudy or dark though. Unfortunately, not everything is well visible on bright days, but at least the speed digits are big enough to easily distinguish. Nanrobot actually allow you to adjust and fine-tune some of the performance parameters. By holding the plus and minus keys, you can enter in the parameter settings mode. You can adapt the voltage cutoff protection, which is by default set to 43 volts. If the battery voltage goes below the value, the under voltage protection will trigger and cut the power to the motors. You can switch between kilometers per hour or miles per hour, kick and non-kick start, cruise control, which is by the way disabled by default, and EBS, which is also disabled by default. I believe it's anyways better like that. Most of the functions are great as they are. My first bits of riding have been quite fun. Nanrobot have adjusted the scooter to be gradually accelerating. Once you reach 15 km per hour, depending on the speed setting, the scooter unleashes its full capacity. If you need to reach the maximum speed, don't press the brakes during acceleration, make sure you're in turbo mode and make sure to have long, flat road ahead of you. Most of the time, Eco mode, single motor config and the first gear was comfortable enough for me, with the speed of around 30 to 35 km per hour and pleasant acceleration. If you need to cover longer distances or ride in road conditions, then you can go to mode 2, maybe with dual motor mode. I believe this scooter feels better on the roads as part of the traffic, and in most European countries, such powerful scooters are anyways banned from bike lanes because they're quite heavy and can apparently lead to other people's injuries in case of accident. Needless to say that the feeling while riding is awesome, super stable, very predictable, excellent grip, amazing performance of the suspension, and your body position feels just right. The buttons and controls are easily accessible, something you can easily get used to. The turn lights also contribute to the safety, and you can easily warn the rest of the traffic participants about your intentions to go in certain directions. Since it's just the beginning, I have only vague estimations about the range, so I'll talk more about it in the coming episodes, maybe in a few weeks' time. So I think we can already wrap it up. First impressions, setup, and all the tech specs which are really important about the LS7 Plus, and this is by far the most powerful, the largest, the heaviest, and maybe the most interesting electric scooter I've ever had. Something that you can easily ride on roads because it has side lights and a lot of great features and range. And since I shared with you my first impressions, now you can let me know what you think in the comment section below the video, and of course subscribe to the channel for more cool tech inspections. If you have more questions about this particular electric scooter, there's a follow-up video coming very soon, so keep me posted what you want me to shoot, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!